Welcome back to CC's Garage. This is going to be a little video between doing the heads and the intake. I've got to hook up the fuel supply system for the ProFlow setup. And as we talked, I'm going to be using the Edelbrock surge tank. As you can see here, I got the one head set on. I need to get a different set of head bolts. I needed some hardened washers to keep from gobbling up the heads as I put it on. So I just went ahead and ordered those. Going to take a couple of days, which is going to put me farther behind. But you get to that point, you just find something else to work on. I know I was talking about when I put the surge tank in, I was going to put it here and cut it in. Well, with the time constraint I've got, I decided to do something different. I've already gone ahead and drilled and put in nut certs to hold the tank here. It's going to set up higher than I wanted to, but you know, time constraints makes it a little harder. What I did when I went to set it up, I come in, got the tank, set it here. Well, there was already a hole right here in the core support, so I just opened it up. At first I wasn't going to use nut certs, I was just going to use a nut and bolt. Well, this one doesn't go all the way through. No way to get in there, so I just went ahead and got the nut certs. So I got the first one drilled out. And put the nut cert in. Then I come in with the extension, or the spacer, and the bolt. Got it stuck in the spot. Bring the bolt out, man. And snugged it up. And I don't have that horn. Of course, I had to move the horn out of the way and to do this anyhow. So let me get it back out of the way again. I've already bent the bracket a little bit, but I still didn't give myself enough clearance. Get the horn out of the way. Then once I got this, snagged up decent, I took a level and made sure I had it pretty well level across. And I used transfer punch, got a sharp point on the end. It just slides through the hole here, and then you put it up against where it's going to be, and you hit it with a hammer, and that gives you your sight that you're going to drill it with. Well, the first hole I went to drill was tight, couldn't get in here with the regular drill, so I used an angle drill. Don't use it often, but it's a very good tool to have laying around. Get you into tight spaces easier. And on the nut cert, I didn't have the tool for that, so I went and bought it. This is a PD tool, nut cert. Bought it from Advanced Auto Parts. Nice little setup. One of the problems I had is everything comes in a baggie. Nut certs, the arbors and all, to put them in with. The only bad thing is none of the baggies are marked. So what I do, and I do this for my helo coil kits also. Basically, I use the same box. I come in, figured out what size each one was, marked it on the top here, and then individually put them in. So the ones I'm using is a 1/4 20, so this here is a 1/4 20. It'll go back in this hole. it comes with up to a quarter 20 from 6/32 to the quarter 20 on the standard metric. It comes from 3mm to 6mm. Instructions are decent. There is one thing I don't like that they need to do. I don't know if it's showing up good, but it gives you the insert size, 3mm, and it tells you what drill size to use, 5mm. It does that 4mm, 6mm, 5mm, 7mm, 6mm, 9mm. So it tells you what size drill to use for each one of the millimeters, but nowhere in here does it tell you what size drill to use for the standard nut service. They can do a little bit better on the directions there. Overall, I do like the tool. Something I've been wanting, so it wasn't just something I bought for one-time use. I'll be using it again. Then, you know, just a set of standard 1/4" sockets and ratchet. Of course, this is Craftsman. This is another one of the sets I've had for years. I like old Craftsman. These are actually USA made on both of them. So I'm going to get the fuel pump bolted in, and then I'm going to get under the truck and start with the lines and the low pressure pump, since this one's a high pressure pump. I almost forgot to mention, I'm going to use a piece of rubber to put between the core support and the top of the tank. This is for a twofold reason here. One, cut down on noise vibrating through it. Two is I don't want the tank rubbing up against the core support if it flexes any. There are rubber mounts to help with some of that and the mounting points. And all I did is just took a piece of extra radiator hose I had and cut it up to make this. Now we're going to take a look at the electric low pressure fuel pumps. One I accidentally bought, and to tell you the difference in them. The Edelbrock ProFlow or surge tank system in their book, all it lists on top is it flows 255 liters per hour. It doesn't give you gallons, but it's 67. Well, the pump I'm putting on the truck, I want to make sure it flows the same. This one at 6 psi flows 50 gallons per hour, less than the surge tank. This Summit one, get into the paperwork here. The one I got flows 65 gallons per hour at 5 psi. I'm trying, and it's set up to 47 psi. I'm trying to make sure I have enough flow out of the low pressure pump to where the high pressure one does not starve for fuel at any time. Would the 50 gallon per hour probably work on this setup? Yes. I may still end up using it. It just depends on fitment issues. The Summit Racing one here, you can kind of get an idea. Bag. Okay, you can tell a height difference. This is a Summit Racing unit. Of course, it comes with the mounting bracket, wire and pigtail leading out of the top. But you can tell the sizes are pretty close to the same on the two of them. The Carter comes with a mounting bracket just like the other one. It also comes with the fittings. The fittings to screw in to hook the fuel line to, where the Summit doesn't. As you can the rubber isolators and the bolts. The Summit kit does come with a rubber isolator and the bolts to bolt it to the frame. So here it's just going to be fitment issue. Which one can I fit in easier? Which one can I fit in better? I'm going to go and try the Summit one first. If it'll work, that'll be the one I hook up. There's really not going to be a big difference between height-wise on the two. So let's get off here and then I'll get under the truck and figure out which way we're going. Okay, we're under the truck. We'll be mounting the pump right under the driver's seat. This is a selector valve. This line comes from the end cap pump. This side here comes from the second tank that's in this compartment right here. The reason I'm choosing this location is when I go to this change out and put a bigger rear tank on, which is the one in that compartment right now, it's going into the very back of the truck. Well, by putting it here right now, I can splice into the line that comes out of the selector valve and goes to the front of the truck. I can just cut it and plumb it in right here. When I go to change the tank to the rear, I will then, be bringing the pressurized pump from the back into this side, and won't need the one between the, I won't need the one that is putting the pressure from the front. With the single pump here, it'll work with both tanks where it's at now. When I got a dual pump, I'll have to take and hook this line in, so the pump will actually just be feeding the front tank, and then it'll have a separate pump for the back tank, and this line will go back to a solid piece leading to the front. With that said, you come over here, and I've got some room. It'd be nice if bolt holes are closed but won't work. To use stock bolt holes to put this in. I've at least got one I can use there. Well, actually, if I put it at an angle, I can use both of these. Might have to open them up just a little bit. I didn't bring the mounting bracket for the carter, which you do see the electrical wires on the carter go down here at the bottom. This would put the lines higher, but put the electrical wire down lower. This puts the electrical higher, put the lines, like I said, down at the bottom. Since I've got the room, I'm going to go ahead and go with this Summit pump. I like the area that it'll be in. It's clearly marked on the bottom, in and out. I'll have to look at the instructions. Who knows, I may be able to mount it like this. But we'll just have to look and see if the pump has to be which way the pump has to be positioned from the instructions. I'll bring you back when I get it mounted. Okay, now we're going to get the fittings in the fuel pump to hook the lines to. I'm going to use a little Teflon tape. Wrap around the threads. Gonna just twist it around my hand to get it set better, and we'll start screwing it in. Okay, get this turned a little bit better where you can see it. Now this is the output side. And next we're going to move over to the input side. I just went to Home Depot and bought the fittings. The ones I had weren't big enough to thread in here. Turn this where we can get a better angle again. Again. Just some Teflon tape. Wrapped around the threads. I'm going to just twist around there to get it to sit down in the threads better. Screw it in. And tighten it down. Next, I'm going to be putting fuel filter in on the output side of the pump. So it'll be between the output here and where it goes into the main line to the front of the truck. Well, and I'll bring you back when I get that done. Okay, I had the fuel filter hooked up, the line cut that's going to go here, which I've got to remove this one. This is a hose clamp. It's supposed to keep the fuel from running through the hose while you've got it unhooked. They actually work pretty good. I'm probably still going to end up, because of this area here, with gas on me. When you're putting a fuel filter on, I don't know if you can make it out, but there is an arrow on here. Let me dim this light a little bit. But there's an arrow here, black, and then here it says 2 carb. So what you want to do is you want to fix it where the fuel flow goes in from the pump and flows through towards the carburetor. Those arrows point towards it. Let's get this other hose off here. Hopefully I won't get too covered in fuel. Go ahead and grab my other clamp for this line. What I did for this clamp is I just went into, I had another one, I had another hose that I'm not going to be using under the hood, so I just took it off and replaced it to use here. Okay. Trying to keep my arms out of your viewing screen here. Okay, we got that clamp off. Go ahead and spray some PB Blaster on there to make the hose easier to get on that end. And as you can see, well, I hope you can see, I've already got fuel dripping out of the other end. I'm opening up the clamp that's going to go on the hose that's replacing that one. Making sure I'm putting it in the same direction that I've got the other clamps. And as you can see, I had a little bit of gash run out of there. PB blaster that end also. And get the hose up there. Let's clamp up a little bit farther. And it looks like I may have to go get another one of the other style clamps again. I don't know if any of you have ever noticed, there's certain fluids, once you mess with them, you're going to smell like them for the rest of the day. Gasoline, antifreeze, transmission fluid, gear oil. I mean, they could make this stuff smell nicer, couldn't they? Well, I'm going to shut things off and get this bolt started back. Okay, I have the new electric fuel pump set up, so now I'm going to be removing the old mechanical. This will serve a couple of good purposes here by removing it. The biggest one will be, it'll cut down on heat soak into the fuel. And as you can tell, I'm using the clamp again. Fuel running out of the bowl. This is held on by two 9/16 bolts. Fuel splattering in my face. Now once I get the fuel pump off, I have a block off plate I'll be putting on. Okay, I got the start fuel pump off. And here's the block off plate from Summit Racing we're going to use. Comes with the gasket, cast aluminum plate, and the bolts and washers. These are socket head cap screws or Allen screws, whatever you want to call them. I already went and grabbed the Allen 3/8 ratchet Allen in 5/16 to put these in with. I will end up cleaning the I'm going to end up get under here. You can see, well, hopefully you can see where the, there you go, see where the plate will be going. That's where the fuel pump was, which is in a tight area right up in the timing cover, right there at the water pump. So it's automatically getting the heat from the coolant into the aluminum into the pump. Then the line runs up the front of the block over the intake and was into the carburetor. So by moving it, the line will, and I'll show you how the new line's going to run up, it'll get it away from some of the heat and hopefully keep it from vapor locking on me anymore. So I'm going to wipe this off and get the new plate put on. Okay, that's what it looks like with the block off plate in place. On the end of the hose here, I got a 5/16 barb going to a 6 AN fitting. So what I will do is I'll make a hose up to go from here up to the surge tank next. Okay, I went ahead from the barb fitting on the line and made it one end of my rated 6 AN line come up here. Now what I'll do is I'll get it set the way I want it to run, which is pretty close, and I really wish people would put mufflers on their trucks. And I'll come in here and mark this line to cut it where I want it. Once I get it cut, and to cut it, I'm going to use a Dremel tool with a cutoff wheel. Once I get it marked and cut, I'll come back and show you how to put it together. Okay, here we are back. I've got the hose cut. And I'm going to get the new end out. I like these fittings better than a lot of them, the way they work. And I'm using Summit brand here, Summit and Vibrant Performance. You get the hose end, Okay. got to do something about the ends of this that frays up and won't allow you to get the hose to seat fully in the nut. What I do is just take, since this is a nylon braiding, use some heat, and melt the ends of the string, just like you would for a nylon rope. I have not done an AN hose yet that I have not had issues getting it to go together. As you can see, this portion is tapered and threaded. Little PB blaster on there just makes it easier, keeps you from galling up the threads, makes it slide in the hose easier. And then you just start spinning. See if that got it down on the hose any further. No. Okay, let me go find something to get this to go. Okay, I was finally able to get it to seat fully. And you just take it and you turn this, and as it goes in, it expands the hose out to make the clamp, or to make the to make it stay in the nut. And then you just take a wrench and for some reason my 6AN lines don't, I always want to fit like they should, and you just keep turning it till you get it fully seated. I've used the push lock style fittings and this style along with the ones for the PTFE that you use for the making power steering hoses. And that's all there is to putting it together. Got a little bit more room, I can run it down there. Okay, now it's fully seated. And what you do, is you come in over here, get your line hooked up to your feed line from the tank. which will be like that right here. Now these other lines you're seeing here, this is what I'm talking about, the PTFE lines, braided stainless, because they're high pressure. This one's going out to my power steering cooler. This one's a return, which goes back into the back of the power steering pump. Comes out of the pump under pressure and goes into the Hydro Boost here. This is the one that, this one goes down from the Hydro Boost to the steering box. And then this one is just a low pressure return, which is this line here running into the T. And before I put that up into place, I want to go ahead and tighten the hose up. So that's tightened. I'll put my hose back up. And come in here. And tighten it down. Now I still have to make the line to go from the out here to over to the intake. I'll also be adding this fuel filter in, which I've either misplaced the fitting or didn't order enough, so I've got to get me another straight on the way. So I'll probably be running it to start off with without a fuel filter, if I get everything in to get the show to go to the show, because the other straight won't be in until the day before the show. But I've got my 290, so I'm just missing one fitting, and there's my other straight. Trying to think. Now I need to come in under here, and there's two fittings somewhere. Oh, they're over here. Two fittings. This one is a vacuum signal for the fuel regulator. It gets a vacuum signal to adjust the pressure as it needs to. This is the vent return to go back to the tank. So now I've just got to come up and do that and figure out which way I'm going to route it to keep it away from the exhaust, any moving parts and all that. I was going to use a piece of hard line to start off with, but it's going to be difficult to get that in to the front of the motor right now, so I'll just wait and do that when I pull the motor and rebuild it, and hopefully as I put the bigger rear tank in and take it out of that side compartment.